Thanks for joining us on Sunday. She was a Hollywood superstar back in the 60s, perhaps most famous for her role in Hitchcock's film The Birds. But Tippi Hedren gave it all away to pursue her true passion, the care and preservation of wildlife. But the wildlife she wanted to save had usually been raised in captivity. Kirstine Lum reports this extraordinary story.
Hand hunts. This is very brave. This is when Mr. Big White Hunter will approach an animal captive in a trap and shoot it captive in a trap.
They can blow that animal away for a head on the wall and a rug on the floor, or taxiderm it. It's an unconscious act. I can't tell you how many people don't know about these canned hunts. And of course, it is something they do keep secret.
First hit with tranquilizer darts. Then a pistol comes into view. And the tiger is shot and killed.
Sometimes they tranquilize them, put them under a tree. Sometimes they'll just lead the animal out on a chain. Open a gate, let it out. It is a guaranteed trophy.
Around the world, rare and endangered species are still being killed for sport. Not just by traditional hunters trekking through the wilds of Africa or Asia, but by those who use unethical and often illegal means to claim the perfect trophy.
How can a hunter, how can they do this? I mean, it's like murder. And they trap these animals. They will trap them with dogs. It's cruel. And yet they're so proud of killing. Where are they heading?
Somewhere inland.
Santa Rosa?
Maybe.
Tippi Hedren was the blonde bombshell of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds and Marnie. She later starred for Charlie Chaplin in The Countess of Hong Kong and is the proud mother of actress Melanie Griffiths.
The thing that I really like about all of it is the doors that it opened for me to accomplish things that I wanted to do and issues that I wanted to address.
What Tippi wanted to accomplish was a greater understanding and appreciation of wild animals around the world.
Always a love for animals. I think I was born with it. I call it a birth affect. I think some people never get it. They don't get it, they don't care, and that's a major, major problem in the world. This was on a walking safari.
A walking safari?
Yes.
Wow.
Tippi Hedren is on a mission in Australia and around the world, a quest to save exotic animals from the brink of extinction at the end of a hunter's gun. Tippi is also extremely active in her home country of the United States in saving wild animals and their owners from the perils of private ownership. For over 30 years, Tippi has dedicated her life to big cats and other abandoned exotic animals. She lives in California, where she runs a private sanctuary, Shambhala.
All of the animals who come to us at Shambhala are born in the United States to be sold as pets. It is all based on greed and selfishness. It's a huge business.
In America, private ownership of wild animals such as lions, tigers and leopards is allowed in many states. These animals can soon become difficult and dangerous.
The exotic animal trade is second under illegal drugs. And unfortunately, there's no real way to count the tens of thousands of these animals who are living in backyards, apartments, basements, whatever.
There's a lot of problems that go along with private ownership of animals. People who get into it not knowing what it entails, not knowing the problems that occur, not knowing the dangers and risk involved in it.
On a recent trip to Australia, Tippy visited a big cat sanctuary on the Gold Coast, Tiger Island at Dreamworld, an educational conservation-based attraction that actively works to save tigers in the wild.
Texas seems to have the biggest problems as far as
Huge.
private ownership.
More breeders, there's more tigers in the state of Texas than there exist in the country of India.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is terrible.
Good job from Tosh. Nice work from Tosh. Nice little simple, yeah.
Tippy is involved in similar conservation activities for all big cats and has been working with Australian author Lynn Santer in a quest to stop illegal and inhumane hunting practices around the world. Lynn has spent most of her life raising awareness to protect the great felines.
You tell a lot of people that shooting goes on by anything other than a camera, and they're shocked. A lot of people don't realise any hunting goes on anymore at all. And then when you take it even further and explain that this isn't just shooting, these are actually using barbaric methods, and this ridiculous canned hunting as well.
This is a real powerhouse of a woman. When she is involved with something, she is extremely focused. And she became focused on the wild animal and the problems they have out there, and became especially involved with the areas of the world that do have the canned hunts or the poaching issue, which is another horrible situation.
The hunting these women are so passionately against does not stop at the canned hunts of animals caged and shot at close range to preserve the perfect trophy. They include unethical and often illegal practices of using hounds, barbed bows and arrows, handguns, live bait and light aircraft to make a kill. These concerns were brought to the attention of Tippy and Lynn by Zimbabwean animal protection groups, who sent out a worldwide plea for assistance to stop these barbaric practices.
These hunts, in particular the leopard hunts, are being held in total contravention of our Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, which involves using dogs, using goats for live bait, and electric collars on the dogs. So, for a start, how can a country allow these hunts to take place when they're breaking the law, as far as our cruelty acts are concerned?
When impoverished African nations are struggling to feed their populations, conservation often takes a back seat. It took Merrill many years to put in place bans within Zimbabwe against unethical hunting practices. It took far less time for the government to be persuaded by rich and powerful American hunters to overlook their own legislation and allow trial hunts with these banned practices on the country's rare leopard population.
We anticipated it might be 1 or 2 hunts. That's what trial suggests. But not at all. 38 permits were issued very quickly for hunters, mostly from the United States, and having said that, mostly from Texas, to come and hunt our leopards using hounds.
They have such financial and political muscle. They are bribing and cajoling and using whatever means possible to get foreign governments to overturn bans that these countries have seen fit to put in place to protect their endangered species.
The hunters that wield such influence are united by a well-connected group called the Safari Club International. The organisation claims it is committed to wildlife conservation.
The hunting that takes place is what funds the conservation. The hunting is good for the management of animals.
They are comprised of the wealthy and the powerful, and the rarer the animal you kill as a member of the Safari Club, the greater your status within the Safari Club. And I mean, I'm not letting out any secrets, to name some of the particularly high-profile members, such as George Bush Sr., Storeman Norman Schwarzkopf from Gulf War I, Dan Quayle.
Critics claim the Safari Club's system of awards has fostered trophy madness amongst some of its wealthiest members.
They're racing against one another to kill more animals, rarer animals, and say, I shot one that's bigger than yours.
Safari Club International has been in the lead in trying to develop programs that teach ethical hunting.
You said you'd like to tell your side of the story.
Oh, I did.
How about the elephants in Mozambique?
No, there was none shot.
There were none shot?
No.
One Safari Club member who has attracted controversy is Californian businessman Kenneth Bering. Bering is a major donor to the Safari Club and has given the Smithsonian Institute $100 million. The Humane Society in the United States have brought his generous donation into scrutiny after a hunt for an extremely rare sheep in Central Asia, 2 days before it was added to the International Endangered Species list. Bering was embarrassed when questioned by ABC America over his hunting activities in Africa.
You didn't shoot any elephants in Mozambique?
I mean, this is...
I would prefer that we go no further.
Okay.
This is not the story.
You're going to stop the interview? Are you saying, sir, you didn't shoot any elephants in Mozambique?
No, I think
You know, if you have enough money, you can do whatever you want. There are tens of thousands of these men, women, who are involved with hunting, and they take great pride in it. They don't like to make it public, so they're where they may, within each other, have a, can boast about whatever, and they can have on their walls all these magnificent heads who once had a great spirit, and talk proudly about that. It's ugly.
Hunting tears the very fabric out of the lives of these animals and upsets the ecosystem. Of course it does. The way things are going at the moment, unless we stop what's going on, cheetahs will be extinct in Zimbabwe and the leopard will be next on the list.
Tippy and Lynn are working to put visual form to their concerns. They want to show the world these hunting horrors through a motion picture.
Lynn is a prolific writer, and among one of the writings that she did was a story called Land of the Free, which deals with the poaching and the canned hunts in Africa. I think our script editor had a wonderful idea, and I really like this, to have it have a documentary feel.
A familiar Australian face hoping to play a part in the film is Barry Crocker.
I have such admiration for them because, they're both glamorous women, and one's a film star, and they could very easily sort of sit back in their laurels. Lynn is a famous writer, of course, but instead of just sitting back and doing nothing, they actually go out there and get their hands dirty. And, I have admiration for people who will do that, and both these ladies are of that calibre.
There isn't a good reason to hunt these animals. What needs to happen is that these animals are given the space, given the territories that they need in order to survive, and survive in a healthy manner.
And whether these animals are hunted for trophies or bred irresponsibly for pets, Tippi Hedren and her friends are determined these animals should live as nature intended.
But I look at them sometimes and they look so regal and so magnificent, staring out at the sunset or whatever, and they have to be thinking, is this all there is? But it's not good enough. There is nothing that we can give them that they need. There's no reason to have a predator as a pet, a wild animal.
Yeah, that heart-wrenching story reported by Kirstine Lum. And for more details about Tippi Hedren's work and her sanctuary, you can visit our website at 9msn.com.au/Sunday. Coming up shortly, how a school called Joey's is giving a chance to more than 40 Aboriginal students. Plus, we look at YouTube, where up to 100 million home videos are viewed every day. But we'll be back with more of Sunday after the break.